"Hit me," her mother said. Kathleen Wardrop sounded frustrated, which was unusual when they had weapons in hand, but Vicky's sister Lizzie was being contrary. They were all in the training room, in what was intended to be the house's ballroom, but really balls weren't quite the thing for the Wardrop family. Instead, 12-year-old Vicky, her older sister Lizzie, and baby sister Alice went there every day to train with their mother, Kathleen Wardrop. Sometimes Lizzie begged off and spent a few hours playing with Alice so Vicky could do ward training. Today, though, was swords. Lizzie was required to do some sword practice at least 2 times a week, no matter how much she fussed. "I did hit you," Lizzie said, voice slightly muffled by the fencing mask she wore. It made her sound older, stranger. "I touched the tip of my sword to your arm." Their mother, who did not wear a mask when she trained, repeated a frequent objection. "That is not a hit. If they come for you, but you need to protect yourself and your sisters," their mum said. "If you were an actual enemy, trust no one, Lizzie. No one but your sisters." Their mother sounded grave. "Remember, anyone can betray you." "Not you," Lizzie pointed out. She stood almost as tall as their mother, with her shoulders back. "You would die for us. Papa too." "We would." Their mother hugged Lizzie. "But when anyone stands before you with a drawn weapon, you do not tap them. You fight." "Yes, Mother," Lizzie said. She always agreed, but for reasons that Vicky couldn't understand, Lizzie did not like to fight. She was kind in ways that Vicky found confusing, gifted in household affairs, and seemingly unable to fight. Lizzie left the centre of the floor, where they practised, and headed to the wall racks where swords, staffs, and other weapons hung. Their mum motioned to Vicky. "Next." "Ready." Vicky was prancing like a newborn kelpie on rough waves. Sword time was one of the best parts of the day. Well, to her, it was. Vicky bowed to her mother and began to circle her, seeking an opening. She made a few strikes that weren't likely to land, but the openings were there. Ignoring openings was silly. Within a few moments, the room seemed to fade. The sound of feet on the tiled floor, the clank and slide of steel on steel, the steady exhales as Vicky and her mother fought. Only these remained. The rest was gone. Vicky no longer heard the chatter from her baby sister or the soft humming as her elder sister watched. This was what sword fighting was. It made the world vanish, like a fast ballet where each movement was leaping into the air, and each response was the difference between landing to applause or flopping on the stage like a distressed fish. Eventually, Vicky's blade made contact with her mother's left side. If Vicky's sword had been sharp, she'd have left a slice on her mum's ribs, but they only practised with blunted swords. "Excellent, Vicky love," her mother said. "Again." And so they went for the next hour. Finally, Vicky felt as if her muscles were unable to continue. They'd fought with speed, not drills, not corrections, simply full-speed swords flashing and clattering. It was both one of the hardest things her mother asked her to do, and one of the most exciting. She was going to need to nap and curl up with a good book afterward. "Lizzie," her mother called. "Your sister is tired. Will you fight now, or will I make Vicky continue?" To some, Vicky supposed, their mother's tactics might seem cruel, but Kathleen had once guarded the Glass Queen herself. Vicky was sure that the habit of being prepared for disasters was hard to quit. At least that was what Papa said. Lizzie sighed. "Fine, I'll never be as good as Vicky, but you can be good enough to be safe," their mother reminded her sharply. "That's all you need." Then she glanced at Vicky. "And you might get good enough at proper manners to pass for a nice young lady." "Doubtful," Lizzie said with a grin. "Doubtful!" Alice cheered and clapped. "Doubtful, Vicky!" Vicky smiled at her sisters as she tugged off her fencing mask. They were all so different. Even though Alice was still a tiny thing, she was already a person of her own. She laughed most of the time, but could also throw a good tantrum. Alice, when she was grown, would have a temper that made Vicky and Lizzie seem positively angelic.